You have questions, we have answers. This is Jane Miller.
And this is Ken Miller. Welcome to our show, all about real estate with Ken and Jane. And before we get started with our guests today, we want to wish all the great dads out there, the granddads, the stepdads, and the father-like figures a happy Father's Day. Thanks for all you do for our communities to make our families
For your
great.
family, too. Yeah.
So we hope
Happy
you guys
Father's Day.
hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for listening today. And
Happy Father's Day, Ken.
Yeah, thank you. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Ken.
Thank you very much. Yep. Thanks. Yeah. All right. So let's get started. One of the things that we spoke about last week, Jane, was about how contractors are part of the real estate cycle. Whenever you buy or sell a home, there's contractors involved. And one of those contractor categories are landscapers.
Very important part.
Why is it important? Because curb appeal, lawn maintenance, landscaping, that's all a very important part of home ownership and pride of ownership.
Yes.
Yeah, and with that, we want to introduce our guest today, Long Cheng. He's the owner of Broehl Lawn Maintenance. Long, big welcome to our show.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Ken. Pleasure to be here. Very excited to have a conversation with you guys.
That's great.
Yeah. So before we get into all the details about landscaping and the services you do, tell us your journey. What got you interested in the lawn maintenance and the landscaping field?
Yeah, so I probably have one of the more unique backstories of someone in the lawn industry. I actually come from finance, so I worked on Wall Street for bulge bracket investment banks for the better part of 10 years. And then at some point, I kind of came to a crossroads in my career path. And you can kind of say that the entrepreneurial bug bit me. And when I saw there was a landscaping company for sale, Broehl's, I kind of jumped at the chance and took a leap of faith and kind of left Wall Street to go down the route of lawn and landscaping. It's been over 6 years now. And it's been quite a journey. So we're just kind of learning every day and trying to do more and more and get better and better.
Time flies. I remember when John, the previous owner, called me, said he sold his company. I said, "What? What did you do?" And he's been in business for a long time.
Yeah, and it feels like yesterday, but then you look at the calendar and it's more than 6 years. And
it's a long.
Wow, that's interesting. So you went from being entirely indoors in Wall Street for like 12 to 16 hours a day to now being totally outdoors, right?
Right.
That's like a cool transition, right?
I think sometimes you endure too long. You kind of, you've been there, done that. You want something different. You want something.
Right. Certainly getting plenty of vitamin D nowadays.
For sure.
My wife hates my tan, so
a lot of people don't have to pay to go to the place.
That's what I told her,
and
that's what I said. I get a free tan, and I never have to worry about vitamin D again.
That's great for everybody out there listening, even though it's a little bit sidebar, that it's never too late to change your career. You may start out in direction A, and then life has its way of happening, and you make a career change, and you do something different. So that's
I have to say, you and I have something in common. I come from the finance industry, too. So I was...
Look where we are.
Bank manager and, worked at various departments from, private bank, institutional bank, commercial bank. And, so once, I think I did enjoy it at that time. And also, most importantly, I think the skill we learned from our financial job definitely help us to run the business better.
Yeah, we can. So, that was my next thought. Yeah, let's talk about that. Your time in Wall Street has enabled you to become a smarter, more financially aware business owner, right? Because you have that part down from being in Wall Street. You know how.
Yeah, I would think so. I think it kind of, everything kind of starts from the beginning, right? And like all the skills that you acquired, all the skills that you practiced to kind of get you to Wall Street. In addition to whatever you learned on Wall Street, all of that kind of translates into, when you're an entrepreneur, right? Like most of your job is kind of, I would say, problem solving, right? You're a problem solver first and foremost above everything else. And so having that ability to recognize, analyze, and ultimately solve problems, that's a skill set that you kind of learn over the course of your life. Now, obviously, like I said, Wall Street kind of is like a crash course in it, and then everything you build up to that is also prepping you for that. So it's certainly, I think that's where that really that skill that translates over, obviously not some of the, Excel spreadsheet stuff, right? But just that ability to critically think and problem
Right.
solve is really kind of
But I'm
where-
sure you use the Excel spreadsheets.
I do, correct.
Yeah,
I
so
do.
it does-
Yes,
That's what
absolutely.
we do
Yeah, we-
well.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the get-go.
absolutely,
Even
absolutely.
in our business, we
Yeah.
use it
Yeah.
all the time for
Yeah.
costs, expenses, advertising
Correct. I do,
breakdowns.
yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
I think also from the Wall Street, right? What it taught me is how to handle the pressure and think on your feet. Like,
That's right,
You
yeah.
have to come up. Something happened, and
That's
you have to find a solution very quickly.
That's right,
You have
yeah.
to consider all the options, what available at that point of time, and make a decision.
Yeah.
So make decision fast. You really don't have too much time to think.
That's right, yeah.
That's really kind of helping me handle, each deal. If anything happened, the transaction goes south or whatever the circumstances happen, right? So quickly you stay calm
Yeah.
and quickly assess, as you said, right?
That's right, yeah.
Assess the options and wait out and then work with the whole party and find a solution. I mean, you're absolutely right, Lon. Regardless what we do, what industry we are in, we are the problem solver. We are the service provider. We have to provide a solution. Doesn't matter, I mean, like you, people want the best loan, right?
Yeah.
But for me, people want a smooth transaction, get, top dollar.
Best house at the lowest
Yeah,
price,
you've gotta
right?
deal-
yeah.
you just-
That's always a challenge.
And just thinking off the cuff, you probably have to deal with problems with unexpected, machinery breakage, equipment malfunctioning when you're in the middle of a job. I mean, these are problems. I'm just guessing, but I
Yeah.
imagine these are unexpected things that
That's
pop
right.
up every day. Or a truck,
Yeah.
a landscaping vehicle breaks down that's delivering. The
Absolutely.
crew.
Yeah, I don't think
So-
we have enough time on the show
so-
to list
and
all
we
the
don't-
Yeah,
to list all the
but
problems.
these are real life
Yeah, but I
problems
think
that
it kind of goes back to you have to be organized, right?
Yeah.
You have to be able to plan your time. You have to be able to prioritize.
Yep.
You have to really be able to plan ahead, right? So
preventive
all those
maintenance,
things.
making sure that everything
right,
gets
yeah.
serviced to the extent practicable, and also the machines,
That's right, yeah.
the vehicles driving you guys, and then unexpected employment shortages, sick employees get into accidents. So these are things. It's a lot. It's a lot of moving parts involved. in
Ken,
it.
that's kind of in common, regardless what kind of business you're in.
Yeah,
You have to
always-
manage that.
And you have to-
how many
Yeah.
times I see our broker owner, back old days, shove the snow, the guy didn't show up.
That's
You have
right,
to get
yeah.
the parking
Yeah.
lot done.
That's right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Like-
it's
Yeah.
always happening.
Yeah, we
you
could
know?
spend hours just talking about that. But
That's
let's
right.
but let's
Let's
get
talk
let's talk about
something-
your company.
Okay,
So
sure.
let's talk about on the things. What are the types of services that Broehl Lawn Maintenance provides?
Yeah, I mean, happy
And-
to
and
give
what
a-
territory too.
Happy to give a quick overview. We are a full service lawn and landscaping company. So we offer everything from lawn mowing, leaf cleanups, lawn fertilization and weeding programs, sprinkler install and maintenance, landscape design, hardscape build outs, pretty much kind of everything you would think of as landscaping and lawn maintenance. Now, in the 6 years that I've been here, Broehl's has undergone some pretty exciting changes, and one of the main things is that it is now one of several distinct brands that I have operating under an umbrella company that services customers throughout kind of the central New Jersey area. And one of the main reasons why we have distinct but collaborative brands is that we want to be able to offer all of our services to different segments of customers, right? You can kind of think of it as like a Toyota versus a Lexus dynamic. So Broehl's is really offering, kind of all-inclusive premium annual programs, and is designed for customers who want to get the absolute best out of their properties and have it look the absolute best. And then our second main brand, which is called Custom Landscaping, that offers all of the same great services, the same quality, but it's offered kind of a la carte, and all the services are a la carte. And so it gives our customers that flexibility to kind of pick and choose which services fits their needs and their budgets best. Unlike, I would say, probably the majority of landscaping companies, our customer base is almost entirely standalone residential customers.
Okay.
And so I don't think there's really official statistics out there, but I would venture to say that we are one of, if not the largest residential-only landscaping companies in all of New Jersey. So just in lawn mowing alone, for example, we mow about 2,000 individual houses per week, right? And so to kind of manage that kind of scale. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of dedication. And, we're very proud of all the effort that all of our team members put in and day out to really be able to put forth such a great product for all of our customers.
I was impressed. Guess how many gallons of gasoline Broehl purchases a year? I had an off-the-record conversation with Long before the show, and he was mentioning that the gasoline, you wouldn't believe how many, because they need to be near this, I guess, a particular.
Yeah,
can I say the store that you get or not?
Yeah, like collectively we get, I think as a whole, I purchase about 70,000 gallons.
Yeah, that's what.
So when gas prices go up, it really starts to.
Wow, that's what I'm
we really start to
thinking.
feel it. Yeah.
So 2,000 lawns a week. So that's quite a number. So if you break it out, I guess you guys are working 6 days, or your crews are working 6. I know you work 7 days a week, but your crews are out there
You
at
work
least
8 days.
Yeah,
a week.
I work about 8 days a week.
Yeah, if you count
so,
the
I have to say, right, I represent a lot of owners of luxury homes, right? Oh, I'm almost certain when I drive up, see the lawn, I pretty much know that's your.
It's like a trademark. It's like a branding. It's like a
right.
Nike of the lands.
That's when I drive up, I just pretty much know. And then in a month or two, I get a phone call from Long.
Yeah.
You're selling another house?
Yeah, you got to stop selling all my customers' houses.
Don't worry, the new ones are not.
Yeah, but then you might have the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
might, or the existing customer might have a contract that gets carried over that the new
That's
owner
right.
can pick
Yeah.
up. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's. So you mentioned that there's a lot of different packages. So I imagine the Supreme package you offer to the certain customers is that you'll do the grass cutting, you'll do the trimming of the shrubs, maybe restocking the mulch. You may have like packages where the homeowner doesn't have to worry about anything, as opposed to the a la carte ones where you might just do the basic lawn service cutting.
Yeah, that's right. And like I said, I think, different customers have different needs, right? And
Yeah.
they have different needs, and they want their customers, they want their houses to look different ways, and they have different budgets that they're willing to spend on their landscaping. So for the customers who want their lives made as easy as possible and their property to look as nice as possible, we have an option for them. And for the customers who just, need some basic maintenance services, we have an option for them as
Them
well,
too.
right? So it's really about just catering to what different customers' needs are.
Yeah. So please share your phone number with our listeners.
Oh, okay. So you can get in touch with our office. The best number would be 732-214-0953.
Okay, great. And do you have a website too?
Yeah, it's broehlslawn.com. BROEHLS lawn.com.
Lawn.com. All right, very good. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these messages. Okay, welcome back to our show. We're joined today by Long Cheng. He's the owner of Broehl Lawn Maintenance. And Long, you guys are based in Central Jersey, right?
That's right,
Right in our
yeah.
backyard, and you cover a pretty large.
That's right,
Cover
yeah.
pretty much all of Central Jersey.
Yeah, we
Yep.
do. We're mostly focused in like Middlesex County, and we're starting to branch out into Monmouth County as well.
Okay.
So.
Okay, cool. So there are those homeowners out there that do their own lawn maintenance. And what are share with us some of the common mistakes that you see homeowners make when they try to care for their lawn and shrubs themselves?
Sure. So I think the biggest mistake that I see, and I wouldn't necessarily call it a mistake, but maybe just the biggest, I guess, misunderstanding is just kind of the magnitude of what it takes to maintain and to take care of, a large outdoor space, right? So, one of the first things is kind of, as you guys obviously know, we've seen a lot of new homeowners come into the area, right? And a lot of these new homeowners, for many of them, it's probably their first time owning a large home with a large yard. Maybe they came from the city, they're renting apartments, maybe they lived in townhouses. And so when they come, they, first fall in love with a great landscaping, and I've spoken with dozens and dozens of homeowners, new homeowners, and a lot of them are properties that we used to service. And, kind of as we alluded to before, thanks a lot, Jane, for selling all of our customers' houses.
Thanks.
But, one of the things that we hear over and over again is, I still remember when I first saw the house at that first open house, right? When I first came in, I loved how the landscaping looked. I loved how green everything was, how nice the grass looked, how beautiful the flowers were, coming out of the pool. And a lot of them, because it's their first time, they kind of think that the yard kind of takes care of itself, right? That it's always going to look like that, right? And especially as first-time home buyers, they're already kind of a little bit getting sticker shock from the roof problem or the foundation problem or the septic tank broke. And now you have to say, oh, by the way, there's also this landscaping component to it too, right? And so what happens is, they aren't ready for the water bill that it takes, right, to keep the grass looking really green. And so when I come back to kind of speak to them, and usually, by the time they're calling me, it's because, the landscape doesn't look so great anymore, right? And we have that conversation and say, remember when everything looks so great? Well, this is kind of what it takes, right? And so that's kind of one of the first major things is that, they don't fully appreciate just how much effort and how much money, quite frankly, it takes to really maintain a really nice looking yard, right? And then the second big mistake is that I think a lot of customers, especially when they do it themselves, they probably just understandably so for lack of knowledge, kind of have like the wrong plan.
Yes.
And and what I mean by that is, the yard that looks so beautiful on the cover of Hampton's magazine, right? Might not necessarily translate to your yard,
Yes.
right? Like maybe the climate is different, maybe the soil is different, maybe you have too much or too little sunlight, right? And that tree that you saw in the nursery that was only 2 feet tall, now all of a sudden is 10 feet tall and is completely blocking your windows, right? Or those privacy trees that Google says grows 2 feet a year. It's been 5 years and they haven't barely grown an inch, right? And so a lot of that is that, a lot of things that look good on paper, look good on the internet, like I can't tell you how many disappointed, azalea buyers that I've spoken to, because when you go on Google or the nursery, you see only mature, healthy plants in full bloom, right? And so you buy them, and then you don't really realize that for 51 weeks out of the year, there's this
they don't
a little
bloom.
scraggly looking green bush, right? And it's not what you thought it was, right? And so I think it's stuff like that where it's really, really useful to have a trusted partner like a landscaper who can really kind of help guide you and give you some direction as you're trying to design your own landscaping.
I have to say, I agree with you 200%. My best buddy, my girlfriend, right? I've known forever. She somehow saw a home, almost an acre, beautiful garden. The previous owner is Italian family, retired, loved the yard. The yard is like magazine level, okay? So she fell in love. She thought, my God, I'm going to have my private garden. She paid top dollar. I'm talking about 20 plus years ago. She paid the top dollar for that house. That house actually showed out on a local newspaper magazine, said, highest price ever sold in that neighborhood. And when she showed me the magazine, she's so happy. I said, Irene, that means you overpaid. I mean, you were the buyer, remember?
Yeah, you're the buyer.
But she said, it's worth it. Look at the garden, blah, blah, blah. I said to her, you better ask, ask how you take care of it. And she tried to ask the seller. They said, no, they do themselves. So they gave her some tips. I'm telling you, 5 years later, she had to sell the house at a much, much discounted price. By the way, the market was hot, lucky. If the market went down, she would lose half of the value because all her yard is like 5 years.
Yeah.
It's you can't. My mom said it's so sad.
Yeah.
I mean, she hired a company just do the minimum, as you said, right? The water, you have to water them, you have to take care of them. The flowers, the plants, it's like your children, like your pet.
I mean,
you have to take care
and then
of
it depends on the climate conditions, the soil,
That's
the
right.
weather.
But
So
this
you may
is the had
you may not
everything.
even get the
But she
optimal
just
yield that you
isn't.
see.
And actually, Jane, if you remember, the previous owner of Broehl's, you sold his house.
That's what his house.
and his
right?
house was like
And-
a tropical.
And we have spoken with the new owners of the house, and 100% they said when we came to saw the house, oh my God.
Yes.
They were-
right? It was beautiful. It was perfectly manicured because, the previous owner, he had pool and all these flowers, a koi pond, all
Like
these
a-
hedge trees,
yeah.
everything.
It was paradise.
It's like
yeah.
a
And then-
paradise.
yeah.
And then when they tried to replicate it, they found that it was very difficult
Yeah.
and very expensive.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you're buying a landscaper's house.
Yes.
The amount of
Yes.
things that a landscape owner can do to his house is not normal, nor is it expected for
Yeah.
any regular homeowner, right?
Yeah.
And so they were very disappointed at their inability to maintain it the way that they remember it. And that's just simply a function, again, of trying to understand that things that look great initially, you have to think about how you're going to keep it
Yeah.
going.
For that house, right? I did tell the buyers when I did the final walkthrough and their agent. I remind them. I said, look, use the same company.
Yeah.
Even the seller sold your house, the company's still there. Same guys, same crew doing the work. Let them do the work. So your house will look amazing. So a lot of time, when you try to take care of yourself, especially when a very upscale, done like my girlfriend, right?
Right.
There's no way, you could do it. But unfortunately for her, she couldn't hire. If they had a crew like your guys, she would. But the previous owner did themselves. They couldn't find anyone can do it.
Right.
But in this case, I'm just, I think John will be heartbroken.
Oh, he came back. He'd have a heart
like
attack.
that.
Yeah.
But you're buying because the yard has to be maintained. Just like,
Just like
you buy
anything
a car.
you buy, yeah.
Yeah, you have to maintain it. Yeah.
Just like we do.
I mean,
so
look,
many-
I think humans at the end of the day, we're very visual creatures, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so when you drive up to a house, right? And let's say you have prospective buyers, right? You drive up to a house and you drive up to a lawn that is thick, lush, like
Yeah.
a green carpet, right? And all the hedges are trimmed and the mulch is fresh. The kind of feeling that invokes, right? Grandkids frolicking by the pool, during the
Yeah.
summertime, right? Like
Yeah.
cherries and sunshine and wildflowers,
Yeah.
right? Like
Beautiful
that
flowers
kind of
or-
feeling that it kind of invokes versus if you go to a house and it's yellow and dry and barren,
Especially
it's
summer.
right? And
Yeah,
it's
barren,
just
it-
and just pockets of, and it's
weeds and
weeds and right, and it's dead pockets, more pitted in the surface of the moon, right? Like how does that, what kind of reaction does that kind of engender, right? And so, we're really talking about, the ability for lawn and landscaping to really leave that indelible first impression in people's minds. And in the conversations that I have with customers, they always kind of keep back, harken back to, hey, I remember when I was here.
Yeah.
I remember what it looked like. I still remember what it looks like, right?
So anybody
Can we
getting-
get it back to that?
So
right?
anybody getting ready to list a home should definitely consider hiring a professional landscaping.
I mean,
but also,
regardless-
secondly, also just the enjoyable living
it's
experience.
not
The home is
when
where
you
you spend
lease the
most of your
house.
time in outdoor
Yeah.
living from
That's right,
the
yeah.
summer months and the spring and the fall. People have outdoor
Any homeowner
patios.
should have
So
it,
they should,
Yeah.
maximize the enjoyment. And,
You don't want to hire loan just like a year or
just-
6 months before the close.
No, you wanna
put on
enjoy-
market. You want to do it because that would make you happy. Just piggyback on what you said, right? It's not only the first impression. Actually, that translates to the second phase. If your loan is so beautifully done, most people think or believe your house is well maintained.
Yeah.
So, they will feel the love, the care the owner has for the house is definitely, it's more than the landscaping you see.
Right,
It's the
right, yeah.
emotion, it's the life. You're not purchasing a home. You're purchasing a future, a lifestyle, your family, where you raise your family. That's a whole emotion involved rather than just bought a house. I always say when you buy a family home versus investment property, totally different feeling. Investment property, you want to know how much you get, how much rent you're going to get, what's the return, and what's the future, right? Cash flow. But when we choose your home, you live there, it's totally different.
And I think you actually bring up a pretty good. It's one of the trends that I'm really starting to see, especially with new homeowners, is that I think more and more, they're looking at their outdoor space more through a functional lens and less through a purely aesthetic lens, right? They're really considering their outdoor space to be an extension of the home, right? And so what that translates to is there's more demand for patios,
Yeah.
for decks, right, for pools. They want bigger driveways. You know, there's a lot of customers taking down trees because they
Paver
want to open
blocks,
up the
right?
space, right, for play sets or for grill areas or even just more yard space, usable yard space for backyard activities, right? And so when you are starting to look at your outdoor space not as just merely landscaping or not merely as simply, you know, grass that has to be cut, right? And you're looking at it really as an extension of your house and usable space, right? And that's really where, you know, taking that additional step and really thinking about how you're going to maximize that space and also how you're going to be able to maximize it for the long run, right? Kind of really comes into play.
Yeah.
100%.
And let's talk about what types of services you can provide to your customers in terms of outdoor living experience. Like talk about the types you can do, you can do additional things like design, what types of services you offer.
Yeah, so like I said, you know, we do, you know, for us in the landscaping industry, you know, there's really kind of, I think of it as like there's two main subgroups of services. One is maintenance services, and then one is like design and build, right? So the maintenance services, a lot of it is just what you would think of as maintaining the grass, maintaining the shrubs, keeping the beds looking nice. One of the biggest pet peeves, keeping weeds at bay, which is a very big problem for everybody. And then the second part is the design and build, right? So whether that is you have a really stale and dated landscape that you're trying to refresh and top up, whether you're trying to install a patio for the first time, whether you're tired of moving the sprinkler hose around and you want to put in a new underground system, you know, all of that is kind of falls under the, you know, the new build.
And those are services that your company can provide directly,
so,
sprinkler installation,
correct, yeah. So,
patio
you know,
design.
we're trying to kind of, we want to build relationships with our customers for the long run, right? So anytime, you know, we would like to start design and build, and then once that's in place, then we would love, of course, to be the ones then to kind of maintain it and keep it looking that nice, right? Because everything looks great on day one. How difficult or how easy it is to keep it looking that way for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. All right. Well, it was great chatting with you. Believe it or not, we're running out of time. So I want you to give your company's name, phone number, and website again.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So Broehl's Lawn Maintenance. You can call the office, 732-214-0953, or you can visit us on the web, broehlslawn.com.
I mean, for the listener out there, if you still hasn't got a gift for daddy and the grandparents, right? I mean, maybe call along to secure 1-year contract for them. That would probably make them happy. Or design something at the corner. Instead of have a man cave, you have a man yard.
A man yard. And use
that would be even better.
And leave it to the professional, like Broehl Lawn Maintenance. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys. We hope you enjoyed the show. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there.
Happy Father's Day, everyone.
All right. Have a great rest of the weekend.
Thanks,
Bye.
Ken. Thanks, Jane.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.